Yo, what's good, y'all? Back at it again with another episode of Dot Connect Wednesdays. This is episode 29. Today we're gonna run you guys through the gamut. We're gonna talk about a couple things that's been going on in cryptocurrency and the markets that's gonna affect everybody, right? First biggest thing is we've always told you guys about exchanges, and a bunch of exchanges crashing and getting hacked. There's always going to be an attack on stable coins and exchanges, and right now that's continuing to happen. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about. I'm going to read this off just so you guys can follow through. The stablecoin hearing that just took place today, that featured USDC, which is the number two stablecoin. We had new legislation to fire Gary Gensler, which is the current SEC chair. Coinbase potentially proposing to leave the United States, and Russia drafts law to use crypto for international payments and settlements. So, guys, it's a lot going on in this world that's going on. So, let's dive right in. All right, everybody should be able to see this. Get this out the way and let's get to it. All right, so first things first, we've got the SEC back at it as always. They just charged Bittrex, which is a big cryptocurrency exchange. It has robust offerings. Um, Essentially, we have hundreds of cryptocurrency exchanges. So, I mean, with this one going under and being scrutinized by the SEC, the biggest takeaway from this is basically this is one more exchange that we don't have we still have access to it at the moment. But typically what happens is once the SEC brings these guys into litigation, and it's announced, a lot of money and volume moves off of these exchanges and they begin to use other exchanges, and they're basically just used for on ramps and off ramps. It's not really rocket science to this, but I did want to bring something to you guys' attention. So this just happened on the 17th. The SEC charged Bittrex and a former CEO for federal law violations, basically saying that they were operating unregistered national securities exchange, broker, and clearing agency. There's a bunch of cryptocurrencies that were also named inside of this lawsuit. I'm not going to talk about them on this call because I do want to go further into this, but we're going to let it materialize a little bit because it's so fresh. There's not a lot of data that's out on these particular projects and what the SEC intends to do. But 9 times out of 10, what's going to happen is they're also going to scrutinize these cryptocurrency projects. They're going to bring them in just like they did Library, just like they did Ripple for XRP. This is just what happens. So, just keeping you guys abreast. But what the lawsuit alleges is that Bittrex from 2017 to 2022 made 1.3 billion from transaction fees from investors, which is us, the retail investors, and that included U.S. investors, while servicing them as broker, exchange, and clearing agency without actually registering those activities with the SEC. I personally find it asinine because there's still no regulatory clarity. But here's what Gary Gensler had to say. He said, today's action, yet again, and this is a quote, yet again makes it plain that the crypto markets suffer from lack of regulatory compliance, not a lack of regulatory clarity. Listen, guys, complete, complete nonsense. I need you guys to truly understand where we are right now. The SEC is continuing to overreach. They truly do not have the power um, of enforcement the way they've been making it seem, but they've consistently been leading with enforcement. So all of these meetings that they set up to have with cryptocurrency exchanges, the CEOs, just different fintech companies that's based all in crypto and in cryptocurrency projects, they call them in after they already have kind of done their background research on the project. They see how they're operating. They automatically deem all cryptocurrency coins as securities, and soon as they come in, these companies are coming in, with the olive branch. They're coming in like, hey, okay, we want to do the right thing. We want to, present our project to the world. And, we just want to be in compliance with you guys. They act as if everything is good. And then literally as soon as they leave, they file suit. So a lot of, it's just a lot of backhand nonsense that's been going on with the SEC. And it's truly because of Gary Gensler. Now, on top of this, the one key thing I want you guys to take away from it is this is not over. This is going to continue to happen until we are almost out of exchanges. This is like the purge phase of crypto right now. A lot of cryptocurrency exchanges are going to go away. A lot of cryptos are going to go away. They're going to go away through enforcement, which is, under Gary Gensler's reign. We truly hope that the SEC is not going to be the agency that controls and regulates cryptocurrency. I'm truly praying. But the CFTC is truly the go-to. If you don't know who that is, you guys now have some homework to do. But that's just another regulatory agency that has a reach, right? So I want you guys to make sure you're abreast in knowing what these different agencies are, what they do, who the heads are, just so you'll know when these guys speak, you'll know to chime in and pay attention. All right. And just to piggyback off some news from Gary Gensler is this gentleman has not only manipulated the world into thinking he's protecting them, he continues to lead enforcement actions and not truly be protecting anybody, right? The interests are solely about enriching the SEC and trying to overreach and exude power that he truly doesn't have. So it's almost disheartening to see this guy still in position and still operating. But in this clip, he actually blamed Silicon Valley Bank collapse on crypto. Now, we've covered this. We've already talked about this, right? But he just had a hearing yesterday, right? Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. And in this hearing, I'm going to cover this in a second. He was just basically scrutinized, but I want to play this clip for a reason. Listen to this.
The biggest, Silicon Valley Bank, actually, when it failed, you saw this country's the world's second leading stablecoin had $3 billion involved there at DPEG. So it's interesting just how this was all had some crypto narrative as well.
And my time is up. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
The biggest.
So in this clip, right, if you guys listen closely, he states that the reason Silicon Valley Bank collapsed was all based on crypto. Now, again, we've covered this. The reason the bank collapsed is because there was a liquidity crisis that's going on and they didn't have everybody's deposits available, right? So there was more withdrawal requests than they actually had liquid capital available to give to patrons or people at the bank. This news got out, right? And there was multiple banks that were all crypto-friendly banks, right? They simultaneously had this issue. We always say that there's no such thing as a coincidence, right? Everything happens for an exact reason, for an exact purpose. This was one of those situations. They had this already scheduled. This was already on cue. They knew that today, April 19th, there was going to be a hearing. The hearing was about stablecoin regulation and getting a bill passed through Senate, through Congress, and they wanted this legislation to go through so that we could actually level the playing field, right? They know that stablecoins must be regulated, period, for crypto, right? For onboarding and off-ramping, right? Anytime that you make a trade in cryptocurrency or when you're going from fiat into crypto, 98% of the time it's going to be done in a stablecoin. Your top two stablecoins are USDT, which is Tether, and then USDC, which is from the Circle issuer. These are the top two stablecoins, and you're predominantly going to use these. Inside the regulation, I'm going to go over this just a little bit. the dopest thing about it was they know that everybody is going to have to use these stable coins. So they want control, they want vantage, they want to be able to regulate whomever is going to be the regulated stable coin that's going to be used by retail investors. They want to be able to monitor transactions and see what's going on, right? Because nefarious activities, money laundering, people are using them for, illegitimate purposes and activities, buying drugs, guns, trafficking, all kinds of things, right? That's happened in the past, and they use Bitcoin and Ethereum in the past to do this. So now knowing that they've already attacked the mixers, right, like Paxos and some of the other ones, they know that people are going to ultimately use stablecoins. So as they use these stablecoins, they want to basically ensure they have vantage of what's going on. But for him to say that Silicon Valley Bank collapsed because of crypto, this is his way of trying to extend his power, extend his reach that he truly does not have. His job is truly to protect the retail investor, and he's not doing that. He's shown that a multitude of times. And in this hearing that he had on the 18th yesterday, it was brutal. They held his feet to the fire. They actually pulled for they actually want to get him out of position. They want him fired. So let's talk about it. So this circle exec, this part that he was in the last tab I just clicked off. I have to kind of speed this along. But we'll go back over this, guys. This circle exec, his name is Departe. He's part of Circle. He was actually there, and basically the committee's hearing was titled "Understanding Stablecoins: The Role in Payments and the Need for Legislation." So they just basically laid out all the pros to why stablecoins are needed, why we need legislation. There's trillions and trillions of dollars that's sitting on the sideline waiting to come in, and without this, it's really holding us back in innovation in the country of the United States. And just right now, you see everybody moving away from the dollar. So de-dollarization is happening, it's real, and you're starting to see other countries begin to actually utilize cryptocurrency, blockchain, and distributed ledger technology to be able to facilitate transactions and payments across borders internationally. So one prime example of this is Russia. This particular country right here, Russia, is huge when it comes to BRICS. So I need you guys to understand, they just drafted actual law. So that means this is on the brink of happening now, right? They're in the same stance as the United States. They're just further along. You understand, Russia kind of facilitated this whole BRICS expansion, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And all of these countries are continuing to basically go into a period of expansion. It's more countries that want to join BRICS, and they're all moving away from the dollar. So as they move away from the dollar, the value dwindles. But as the value dwindles, the only thing that we truly have that's in our benefit is gold, because these other countries are now starting to back their currencies with gold, and they're trying to transact. But it's super hard to transact in gold when you're doing international trade, because somebody would have to physically move tons and tons and tons of gold from point A to point B. That's not the most sound method of commerce, right? As you're paying for something. So what they're doing is they're backing the currency itself by gold, and they're transacting gold in a tokenized manner on certain blockchains already. So now you're starting to see countries which are basically large they're large companies. A country is nothing, a government is nothing but a big business, right? So as these businesses are starting to transact and work together like BRICS is doing, they're actually going to be paying for oil and just certain things, and they're able to sidestep the use of the United States dollar. With everybody moving away from the United States dollar, it's going to take a little while, right, for us to actually move away from fiat. But this is impactful, because the more countries that are public about moving away from it, they still have to have a means of transacting, which is why we are here, right? Russia didn't specifically say what crypto they're going to use. But what they have been talking about lately is just cryptocurrency, period, making sure that it's kind of interwoven in their government activities and how they pay for goods and services internationally. So this right here, this is major. And the reason I even brought this up is because if they're starting to have hearings about stablecoin legislation in the United States, the United States already knows that all these countries are trying to move away from it. They're on the brink of losing its power, right? And these other countries are leveling the playing field. If they can successfully level the playing field, what are we going to use? Because they're trying, Russia is one of the countries in this article, it actually says that what they're trying to do is make it, I guess, common practice for all of the countries to use the yuan. They're all in favor of internationalizing the Chinese yuan. But think about it. Why would we want to use the yuan if we're here in the United States? We would still want to use, our own currency, right? So if we have a digital dollar, if we have, whatever they coin it, or if they just use, let's say USDC, they use the stable coin, circle issue, and they back it, or equivalent of a dollar, so that we are able to use it. Think about that. You can use this same digital dollar or this same digital currency globally, transact it within seconds. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to do that with a wand, right? Here in the United States, it's just not going to happen. So this right here is a huge step in the right direction. I truly, truly feel that we are somewhat stepping in the right direction. Hopefully we can actually get some things handled as these guys continue to push forth legislation and we try to get some sort of clarity. But the rest of the world around us is moving super rapidly and everybody is literally moving away from the dollar. So it's unique times that we're in right now, and you guys are seeing it. This is not new news, especially if you guys have been tuning into everything that we've been doing. You guys know what's going on. But it's just huge to kind of put things into perspective and just see clearly all of these countries are just like, yo, we're just not buying into the dollar anymore. We can transact, for our own countries and build up our own GDPs and things like that without you guys. So unique times, but just know you guys are already in cryptocurrency, and this is exactly why you're here. You should be here for this exact reason. Because in the near future is going to come a point where we no longer have fiat, or it's going to be harder to actually spend fiat. The Congress, forgive me, not the Congress, the hearing, right, was based upon a bill that actually came out. They put the bill out Saturday. They know a lot of people don't have a lot of time to skim through 72 or 73 pages of data, right? But just to summarize it, I have a link here for you guys. I wish I had a little more time. We scheduled a call with the 1%, so we're going to jump off in probably the next 7 or 8 minutes. But this was basically a highlight, and I'm going to drop this in the chat for you guys. This is from Circle's actual blog. Circle, again, is the USDC issuer. Circle basically just put this out, and it has video to support everything that kind of highlighted the hearing that happened today. So this is the great part. I want you guys to actually take the time, just skim through it. It'll probably take you guys maybe about 15 minutes just to watch the videos, read the text, and just have a broader understanding of what exactly the bill was about. But ultimately, they just want to push forward a stable coin that's going to be safe, that's transparent, that's basically going to be able to be utilized on a bipartisan basis, which means both sides, and that legislation on it is extremely important. So all of your key players, Maxine Waters, she's a little bit clueless sometimes, but she's on there talking about it. Certain Republicans, this is French Hill out of Arkansas. He's talking about how they need, and there's actual consensus where all parties are in agreement that they need a framework for stablecoins, because when it comes to payments, we need to know there's something being built in place. One thing to note, I want you guys to know, I don't have the article pulled up, but they did actually cover this at the committee. Maxine Waters said that the bill that previously existed is completely outdated. It won't work. There are too many things that lead towards one side. So you know how this works. When they have to come together and actually agree on a bill or anything of that nature, there's always a give and take. There's always a dance, a tango that goes on, and we, the retail investor, we're still kind of left, just operating how we operating, not having certainty or clarity. But the Congressman French Hill, he came out and said, listen, there is consensus. Everybody needs this. We're all in agreement that we're ready for it, and they're ready, willing and ready to work towards achieving that goal. But Maxine Waters said they're starting from scratch. So this bill that came out Saturday, 72 pages. If you guys want to read it, I'll make sure I drop it inside the Discord so you guys have it, and I'll upload it when we upload this video. I'll make sure I put it in the description so you guys can kind of dig in on your own and just skim through it, and then we'll talk about it. We'll open up like a thread or something like that on our Discord. That's the home for us, and we'll make sure you guys can kind of chime in and share your thoughts, and we'll all talk about it as a collective. All right. Last but not least, before I go, Brian Armstrong, he is the CEO, he's the big dog of Coinbase, right? The quote unquote #1 cryptocurrency exchange in the United States. They're basically saying there is a potential of them moving out of the United States. The reason they're saying this is because there's so much uncertainty, and in order for crypto to basically thrive, we need regulatory environment. We need rules. We need things that are in place that will allow businesses, investors, for whether foreign and domestic, to come in and be able to kind of have a landscape where they know they are protected. Right now, it's being stifled by, of course, Gary Gensler and his cronies. So I'm happy that there is legislature that's coming out. They want to introduce during a hearing that he just had on yesterday. They did say they want him out. They want to restructure the SEC. And once they do actually restructure the SEC, I believe what's going to happen is they're saying no former chairs from the SEC are going to be eligible under this new under this new bill. Whenever they do the restructuring, they don't want any former chairs to be eligible whatsoever, right? So that means everybody that's currently in place completely gone. So that's the great thing. But kind of look at this, take this info with a grain of salt, this Coinbase situation. He feels the lack of regulatory clarity in the United States, it's basically like, hey, because we've been asking for this for so long, we've done everything right, we've been in compliance. And if you guys know, he has kind of played both sides of the fence. More recently, he's kind of been on the side of crypto, right? The retail guy. They held his foot to the fire on Coinbase, on Twitter. And, basically he just shared some comments. He was just like, listen, I was just trying to do what was best for the company, to, be present, to, be supportive of the SEC, and, just try to help these lawmakers come into some sort of laws and rules so that we can have them as a collective. But I guess that still wasn't working out for him. And now the SEC is actually still on the neck of Coinbase, and they're looking into them. They've begun investigations into Coinbase as well. So it's weird, it's wild, but I 100%, this is my personal opinion, right? I'm gonna speak candidly. Coinbase is not going anywhere. The reason I say this is because Coinbase just made the Forbes, right? For, I believe it was 2021, its performance and what all happened in 2021. 2022 was a horrible year into now, right? It was a bad year for Coinbase, right? They almost were a liquid. They were one of those exchanges where they were coming up almost to the brink. So as FTX collapsed and some of these other exchanges started to go under, and these staking and DeFi protocols, they started to go under, Coinbase was one of those ones where it was almost there, right? So they did massive layoffs, and you started to kind of see that wave. You started to see a multitude of people getting out of just getting out of the sphere, right? They were moving away from these exchanges. We always preach self-custody for reasons like that. So just understand, we do this for a purpose. We do this for a reason. We want you guys safe. And there's so much uncertainty that's going on in crypto right now. So just, don't keep any of your crypto coins on these exchanges whatsoever. I know we say this all the time, but I don't want to be the dead horse. I just need you guys to understand how important this is, because right now, while we don't have regulatory clarity, there's a lot of things that can happen and it will put you at excess risk. So what I need you guys to do is just make sure you're protecting what you're investing in. Make sure that you are self-custodying, making sure you're putting your crypto assets on your cold storage wallets. We recommended a couple in the Freshman 101 ebook and the Ultimate Guide to Security. And we just know it's beneficial to you guys. So we're going to continue to drive that point home until we actually have regulatory clarity. And then, we'll see how life goes from there. But the safest bet in this space right now, 100%, is to self-custody. All right. That's all the news articles I have time to cover for today. I have to get into this 1% chat. But does anybody have any questions, concerns, something you want to voice, anything you got a quick question on? You can either drop it in the chat or raise your hand and I'll get you taken care of real quick.
Ain't no time for that, bro.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Discord, send in the Discord, put in the beginner's chat.
Yeah, so y'all heard him. Y'all just come to Discord and we'll get y'all right.
Get in the 1%, jump on this call.
Yep, absolutely.
Champ, will I be able to join the 1% call? I sent that information to you. This is T.
Yeah, now I don't know if you'll be able to join this one, but we'll have it recorded, but I'll get you taken care of.
Okay, thank you. You're gonna send a link, yes?
Yep.
Okay, I'll do that now. Thanks.
All right. But yo, listen, that's all the time we got for today. That's Doc Connect episode 29. And let's take it to Discord. Let's talk about it. Big love, y'all.